Hello and welcome to
Radio.
Solutions. Hello and welcome to Solutions with Courtney Anderson. And today we're looking forward. We're being proactive, and we're thinking about the fact that it's the end of a calendar year, and so everyone is thinking about their resolutions and focused on the future and what's next, what's going to happen. One of the fundamental issues and principles that my entire professional career and the show is built around is this concept of that we're going to really aggressively, being as tenacious as we can, we are going to deploy every single skill that we have to create the life and the experiences that bring us a sense of joy. So that's a lot of what practicing the joyful art of business is about. And so one of the things that I thought it would be helpful to do here is people, again, are rushing around thinking, oh, the New Year's coming, it's going to be New Year's Eve, and then it's going to be the first. And I think for me, psychologically, there's something powerful to sort of that fresh piece of paper, the fresh start, the beginning. First day of the first month of the new year. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It's lovely. It's sort of there waiting for us to determine what's next, what's going to happen. So one of the things that I wanted to, again, focusing on one of our principles, which is being pragmatic, is to begin with a series of shows, and this is the first one, to sort of deconstruct what is it that's holding us back from surpassing our goals? And there are a couple of parts to that equation. First is the concept that there is some ability that we have as individuals to leverage action in the universe that'll give us an outcome. In other words, if I believe I'm a victim, if I just believe that, my goodness, woe is me, I wake up every day and I just have to, be prepared for whatever the world throws at me. There's really nothing I can do. I'm just here. And what happens is completely beyond my control. I'm just sort of like a ship in the ocean, and I don't have any fuel, and I'm just sort of floating, and the tides will carry me where they will. And it's just sort of fate. If that was the perspective and the equation that we were using, then our show wouldn't have any meaning. It wouldn't be applicable. This whole purpose of the again, my business, my businesses, my research interests, the Institute for Practicing the Joyful Art of Business, all of this is about the idea that we have some control, some modicum of control. And thus, if there's something that we can do, just something, maybe something as little as, I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to brush my teeth and floss. And even though, it's not anything particularly glamorous or exciting, brushing my teeth and flossing does have some outcome. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that if I brush my teeth and floss, I'll never have an accident or never have a health problem. You can brush your teeth and floss and still be run over by a truck or be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's a tsunami. Or, my goodness, look at that, I was hit by lightning. But if you never brush your teeth and floss, then more likely than not, there's going to be a negative outcome. There's going to be a buildup of tartar. There's probably going to be cavities, gum disease. There will be outcomes. So the fact that someone takes the action to get their toothbrush, to put toothpaste on it, to brush their teeth, to floss, it doesn't seem like it's much, but it does result in somewhat different outcomes. Does it mean you're never going to get a cavity? No. Does it mean that you're going to be 100% guaranteed you'll never get gum disease? No. But will it have some potentially beneficial outcome versus doing literally nothing? My argument is yes. And so sort of within that construct, we're going to start to explore, okay, maybe I could do something. Maybe I can do something. Maybe the universe is still aligned against me. Maybe fate is still against me. Maybe there's a lot that's beyond my control, but maybe there are some things that I can do. So the question again is, what's holding you back from surpassing your goals. So the concept here is there's something that we internally can do. We can put a little bit of pressure in the universe. We can put our thumb on the scale just a little bit in the outcome of life. And again, I'm not arguing right now magnitude. That's for another show. But I'm just laying out this sort of basic premise that there's something that we can do as an individual human. So we're getting ready to go into a fresh calendar year, right? So far, the year's perfect. Because, of course, it doesn't exist yet, and thus nothing bad has happened. And it's full of potential. Awesome things could happen. It could happen, I don't know. And that's the beauty of the future. And my suggestion would be that it's not just every annual opportunity for the first day of the first month of the new year, but it, again, might be a little bit seemingly a cliche, but it ties into a lot of the content that we're providing in this entire program series. I would argue that every day is that, right? So, whatever day, today is. When you woke up, nothing bad had happened today. It's a fresh start. And every day we have that opportunity to sort of think, okay, who do I want to be? What do I want? And here's my shot. I think that we sometimes get in a pattern. We get the word stuck is so overused, but I guess it's somewhat accurate. We can become sort of numb, to the beauty and the opportunities that we have. And until there's some sort of catalyst, whether it's literally the calendar changing or something, really fantastically awesome happens in your life or something, catastrophically horrible happens, we don't stop to think, wait a minute, literally at any time I could start over. Literally every single day or, every single hour actually that's coming up that's new, it hasn't happened. So I have some ability potentially to reframe it, to change my narrative. So one of the things that I think is going to be important as we sort of focus on this idea that, first of all, that there is some ability to influence the outcome, that you have some ability to put your thumb on the scales of what happens in the universe. The question is, why don't you? And one of the things I've done as a speaker, I've had the pleasure and the privilege of, actually traveling around the world and speaking to people in all different types of organizations and all different parts of the globe. And one of the things that I typically ask when I give a speech, a keynote speech or a corporate training event, is I ask people, why are you here? And I start with that question for a couple of reasons. One, I think some people actually don't know where they are. I mean, I've done enough of these, and I'll be going into, my goodness, I'll be going into year 15 coming up of speaking. Wow, that's crazy. And so I've seen a lot over the years, and I honestly think I've been some places, I've looked at people, and I honestly believe they really don't have any sense of where they are. Maybe they're sleepy, maybe by habit they just, got on the train or on their bicycle if we were in Amsterdam or whatever and got to, work, and it didn't really dawn on them sort of cognitively like, oh, I'm here. Maybe it's habit, maybe they're hungover, maybe they're bored. I have no clue, but I think honestly some people don't even stop to do that, every day. Like, why am I here? And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, no one has to be anywhere. And certainly sometimes when I've gone into environments to do speeches or do training where the group is really unhappy, which is usually, there's an economic issue, there's bad news happening, and then I'm brought in from the outside, and nobody wants to hear what I have to say because, rightfully they're upset about their economic condition, they have anxiety about what's happening to them individually, they're, angry about maybe how some of their friends or coworkers have been treated, the list is almost endless. And those are all legitimate feelings, and so they take it out on whoever happens to be there, which is me, sort of like, hey, welcome to our program. They're not psyched. They're not excited. I'm excited because I love my work, and because I'm an outsider, I'm not caught up in that sort of, narrative and experience of what they deal with on a daily basis. So for me, it's interesting, especially if it's somewhere I've never been before, people I've never met. I think all of it's interesting. I've learned a lot about the world and about myself. So from my perspective is going to be like, I'm psyched. I'm excited. I love what I do. And a lot of times the audience is not in that place. And like I said, that is understandable. Part of why what I do is not easy is because I'm often brought into extremely difficult situations to handle difficult problems, and that's okay. That's what I specialize in. But one of the things that I want to do when I ask that question of why are you here, and I don't just ask it like that. I might ask you like, why are you here? Why are you here? I add a little bit of a show to it and dynamism. One, to try to, again, wake them up, annoy the ones that have the hangovers, and, put a little of a show in it. But the reality is it's a powerful question. And if you sort of look at it big picture, it's the core issue of many of our, if not all of our world religions, our philosophies. That's the question. Why are we here? Seriously. And it's, it's something way beyond the scope of some little speech or, corporate training event. But that doesn't mean that it's not applicable. It doesn't mean that it's not a powerful starting point. It doesn't mean that it's not, I think, really the most important question of the whole event, of our lives. Why are we here? What's going on? And so when we look at going into the new year and we ask ourselves, what's holding us back? And again, what's holding us back from surpassing our goals? Not living our dreams. A dream is, it's a dream. I had some horrible dreams the other night. I woke up and I very rarely have dreams I remember that are bad dreams. But it was so disturbing that I woke up and it just sort of lingered with me, this distasteful, horrible dream, like some scary movie. It was just littered with horrible ideas and, memories of people who I miss and are no longer alive, and it was just horrible. So anyway, dreams are dreams, and as much as we're aware of reality, and of course that's also debatable, how many dimensions there are, what's real, what's a simulation, what's a parallel universe, I'm fascinated by all that, but as much as we can discern what's reality for the moment, even putting aside sort of the philosophy of the allegory of the cave, the idea that we're, again, not actually engaged in what's real in life, but we're actually watching a representation of life that's passing, behind us. So beyond all of that, whatever the parameters are of what we can determine to the best of our ability to be real, I think it's incredibly important that we try to distinguish somewhat, as much as we can, between what is as real as we can perceive it to be, meaning, the table that I'm touching, the sound of our voices that we're hearing out loud, not in our heads, the food that we're tasting, these types of things versus something that might just be complete fantasy in our heads. So dreams are fantastic. Certainly we have positive dreams. We do visions and visual work as business leaders, as individuals, for our personal lives. It's all great. But the core for me, and one of the, of course, principles of my business and the show is all about pragmatism, what works in the real world, and outcome. I'm just obsessed with outcome because that's the whole point. There's a world littered with, like dreams denied, dreams deferred, and dreams that are mostly just never, there's no action taken. There's just not any action. And so the question as we go into this new opportunity, stopping us from surpassing our goals. So not our dreams, but our goals. Those are the tangible outcomes that we've put down. And we want to surpass those. I don't want to just meet them, because if your goal is to meet them and then you meet them, then what? Right? So if your goal is to, finish high school, right? So let's all think back. If we finished high school, we were young kids and teenagers, And your goal, okay, I'm going to finish high school, or I'm going to finish, middle school or whatever, and then that's your goal. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish 8th grade. I'm going to finish 12th grade, and then you do it, and you finish, and you graduate. Yay, you finished middle school or junior high, or you finished high school. Yay, you. Okay, if that was your goal and you met it, now what? What's next? And so I just think it's important that we are always setting ourselves up for success instead of just sort of setting ourselves up for complacency. And if our goal is just to meet our goal, then it's pretty obvious that we probably are going to set ourselves up at some point for complacency, because we'll sort of be like, okay, well, we met it, okay, and there's no other goal, so I guess we just, sit here for a little bit. So we're looking at surpassing a goal, which is a tangible, defined outcome, predetermined. And we're looking at what's holding us back. What's the deal? And I had a couple of experiences here in the last couple of days that I think are helpful. One of the principles that I'm going to explore in an upcoming show here probably in the next couple of days is this concept of the myth. The myth that the reason that someone has not surpassed their goals is because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I would do it if I knew what it was, but I don't know what to do, so I don't know. The myth that we're not able to surpass our goals because we, quote, don't know what to do is a powerful myth. And it's something that's going to, like I said, we're going to delve into this in some upcoming shows here coming up on the calendar, because I just hear it all the time and I don't get it. I really don't. So, we all wake up, and I feel, because of some of my life experience and some of the things that I've gone through, that, it's a privilege to wake up. And, to a certain degree, I'm on borrowed time. I'm not guaranteed anything, literally this moment. And I've chosen to be here. And I understand very powerfully that it is a choice. And I think about why I'm here. And I think about what I want. And I think about what brings me even little tiny pieces of joy or pleasure. And I keep calibrating and trying to think through, okay, this is why I'm here. Some of the things that we're going to focus on in some upcoming shows, and I have some programs I'm presenting, are going to be about the tools and the techniques to sort of work through your sort of personal, mission statement, which is sort of your own kind of manifestation of your own individual. Why are you here? What's your purpose? And the myth that someone doesn't have the ability to surpass their goals because they just don't know what to do, it confounds me. It really does. And so here's what I mean. Okay, so I'm talking to someone. It might be someone who has come to me with a potential business idea, and I get a lot of people with either potential business ideas that they're looking for an attorney to help them, usually looking for an attorney to trade them legal services for, some percentage in their potential venture. So basically a free lawyer. But with potential, those deals sometimes where you get in on a startup, that could be, Facebook. I don't know. So I usually talk to people if my schedule allows, and if it seems that, they kind of go through some pre-screening that they might be, serious. So I listen to people in that perspective, right? So they're telling me all about this brilliant idea, and, of course, they come to a lawyer because they're comfortable because I have the confidentiality requirement, so they are, able to understand that I'm not going to steal their idea and run out and do horrible things. And if I did, of course, I'd have horrible consequences. I'd, be disbarred, lose my ability to be an attorney, be sued, and depending on what the horrible thing is I did, if it was a separate offense that was criminal, I could even go to jail. So there's a level of layer of protection there, which is one of the reasons people come to lawyers. So I hear a lot of interesting things. And then some people come to me who want to have a consulting business, or they want to be a professional speaker, and they just sort of want to ask my advice because I've been in those fields. And that's interesting. And sometimes students and former students especially will come to me with ideas and questions about their careers and things of that nature, which is great. But one of the things that I struggle with and one of the things that I'm working on for my personal goals is, that socially sometimes I don't, because I wear the hat often where someone's asking me for my opinion, and so I'm used to, listening and sort of problem solving and then giving feedback, based on either, business principles, legal principles, sort of my own expertise, because that's kind of my job. And sometimes socially, or when it's someone that's sort of new and I don't really know that well, and they ask me about something in life, and usually it's like it's monetarily related. So it's, I don't make enough money, or I wish I had another job, or I want more income, or something along the lines of I want more money, which is a reasonable, I think, goal, right? I think that's a goal that I have entire programs on, right? How do we get from $1 amount to another dollar amount, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. So that's, I think, an admirable thing. But the challenge is that someone will start to talk to me about, okay, they want more money. So I hear that, and I think, oh, okay, and I start working through in my mind, all right, well, how would you do that? Are they someone who's entrepreneurial? Are they someone that could have like a full-time business, or are they someone that could have a side little tiny business, maybe a cleaning service, or do something, lawn mowing service that's smaller, but it would still bring them income? Or are they somebody that's not entrepreneurial at all and has no interest in that, and they just want to learn how to make more money at their job, or how to get a better job, how to interview and earn a higher salary? So I listen, and I start kind of thinking through different ways that we can problem solve. And often, somebody will give me their perspective on something they want to fix, or I think they want to fix, meaning that they say, I want more money. And I say, oh, okay, great, I get that. Let's work out how you could do that. And then so someone will say, oh, I really I want to work from home. I don't like the travel, and it's hard for me. I have health issues, or it's more convenient for me to work at home on the internet or on my phone. I say, great, I understand that. I work from home a lot. And so what will happen is then I'll send, because I'll go out and I have a lot of research, and I'll typically send somebody like a list of here different types of work at home positions or jobs or contracting opportunities, depending on what their skill set is. So if there's someone that has a college degree, and there's certain jobs that you could do with a college degree from home, then I'll send them those types of opportunities, like the contact information, a little bit about if I can find out, the income opportunities, whatever. And it's just amazed me, and I really do mean amazed me. And this is one of the reasons why, when I sit and I think about, okay, what would be a good show topic? What's something that might be interesting? And I have no clue if it'll interest one person or, 10 million people. You just, you never know. But if it's confusing to me and I don't get it, then maybe that's usually a good starting point. So I'll go through, the time, and I'll sort of create, here's some solutions, here's some opportunities. All you got to do now is just, contact all of these or look into them and see if any of them are potential opportunities, and, then get out there and start, contacting organizations and potential clients or employers, and then just be relentlessly aggressive. And, clearly you'll get one of these positions, and you'll be able to work at home, and you'll have money, and it'll be, win-win, happy days are here at last. All right. But the feedback I'll get is this myth. I'll get some version of, but I don't know what to do. And I don't get it. First of all, no one knows what to do. No one knows what to do. I don't know what to do. It's not like I have some special drawer or some notebook somewhere where I go open it, and then I look in there, and it's like, oh, here's what to do. Here's how to make more money, or here's how to buy your house, or here's how to, get online and try to meet somebody nice for your, personal relationship and dating, or here's how to take care of your dog, or here's how to finish your degree. Like, I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. I have to go try to figure it out too. And I just get personally a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of people who share with me some version of the myth, I don't know what to do. I just don't know. If I knew, I would go ahead and get started. But I don't know, so I can't do anything. It's the oddest thing to me. Nobody knows. That's the whole point of life. And certainly myself, right, being a entrepreneurial evangelist, as per the the new blog, you know what? That's the whole point. You never know. You don't know when you start a business, or even when you're in a business, or you're managing a company and you approve a new product or a new ad campaign, or you engage in a new endeavor. You have not a clue. Is it going to be a huge success, or is it going to be a catastrophic failure? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, you know, I have some experience, or maybe I've done something similar to this, or you know, but that's the challenge and the excitement of life. That's what makes it an adventure. Nobody knows. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Now, like I said earlier, it's like brushing your teeth. I brush my teeth and I floss because overall I understand that I'll have some potentially more positive outcome than doing nothing, right? Like just eating and drinking and never brushing my teeth and just letting nature take its course, right? It doesn't mean it's a guarantee. It doesn't mean that I'll brush my teeth and floss and I'll be in superposition and have great teeth. And just a personal point of pride. As of today, knock on wood, I personally not had a cavity. There was a horrible incident when I moved last year, and a dentist accused me of having a potential cavity, but I went to a second opinion, and it was, of course, shown through my x-rays and my dental exam. I do not have any cavities. I believe that dentist was a dishonest business person, but that's a digression. And a point of pride is simply that I haven't had a cavity. Now, is that because I have some great brushing and flossing technique? No. It's probably a lot due to the genetics of sort of the teeth I was born with, and then I've done something. But I certainly haven't been the greatest brusher and flosser in the universe. What's the point? The point is this. No one knows what, quote, to do. Nobody. That's why you have to embrace this concept of risk and fear and anxiety. And we all face it. There's nobody in some super special magic place where they just know everything. It doesn't exist. And the myth that it does, it just personally is an irritant because I don't get it. And it's such a nonsensical response. I mean, you know, you don't know what to do. Well, neither do I. That's like saying to me, well, you know, it could rain one day. Well, yeah, that's true. It could, and unless we live somewhere where it never rains, it probably will rain someday. I live in Las Vegas, and it rarely rains, Nevada here in the U.S., but it rains every once in a while. So what does it have to do with anything? What does it have to do with why you're not taking any action? And so that's the crux of this issue, the myth that you don't know what to do, so you won't do anything. And my answer and retort is, well, it's nonsensical. No one knows what to do. We're all out there sort of trying different things, and we'll see what happens. The real deeper question is, what's the real reason that you don't want to do this? Are you scared? Are you scared of success? Are you scared of failure? Are you scared of what other people think? Are you scared of disappointing yourself? Are you scared of finding out what you're really capable of? I mean, those are all legitimate things that are real, viable reasons for why action is not taken. But just sort of standing there and throwing your hands up and saying, I don't know what to do is illogical. No one does. And the question is, all right, now what? And the deeper issue is, what's the real issue holding you back? And so as we move forward to the next couple of shows, I'm going to be addressing some of these other myths, some of these deeper issues that the myth is really a rationalization or distraction technique to cover up, and so that we can begin to get a plan. Because there's nothing better than a day where you feel that it was well lived. So please join me on CourtneyAnderson.com. Thank you for joining me on today's show, Solutions with Courtney Anderson, and have a great rest of your day.